Good evening. Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting. This is March 3rd, 2021. On our agenda tonight, we are going to review the budgets for fiscal year 2022 and make recommendations to town meeting. We do not have any transfer requests to vote on, and there are no minutes to review. All right, so looking at our list on the budgets, the first one we're going to look at on our list is the town clerk, number 161, and elections, number 162. And I see Deb Gramo, our town clerk, is here. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Good. Do you have anything you want to tell us about the budget?
No, I mean, not much has changed. We're talking about the town clerk one first.
Yes.
Pretty much it's, basically the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And looking just at the same time over to elections, I was going to ask you, how many elections are planned for next year? Are you planning for 2?
Right now, we have figured in the provide of a potential special election for the public safety facilities.
Yeah.
There is only one scheduled one at this moment, the annual town election. But should we have a special election in the fall, we did provide for that.
Okay. And don't we have the primaries in September?
Not this year.
Oh, no. Okay.
That was every 2 years, so we won't see one of those until 2022.
Okay. Great. All right, so looking at the town clerk's budget, the subtotal for salaries in the department is $183,568. The town manager recommendation, and the town manager recommendation for the non-salary items, $4,560, for a total of $188,128. Do I hear, do our members have any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to recommend, is that correct?
Yes, actually, yep. Thank you.
Motion to recommend.
Second, thank you guys. So let me do the roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you. So now let's look at the elections budget. The election total, $36,185, which is an increase of $2,591 to last year, or 7.71%. And that increase is in the supply lines, which are needed for the elections. Any members have questions on this?
I have one.
Sure.
Trevor here. Just curious how it breaks out. I'm surprised a little to see 10,000 more in supplies coming off of the presidential election in the previous year. I was just curious if you could maybe explain how the costs shake out between the special elections and other elections, and how they may differ. Because I know on a net basis, obviously on a net between the 2021 appropriation and the recommendation, it's only a $2,500 difference. But
for one thing, when you're talking a special election or the annual town election, we're paying for ballots, and so right now, like I said, we provided for the cost of a special election, which we didn't have definite on who would come and what we would have, so we just estimated that.
Okay, so for the federal election, like in the primaries, those are all provided by the state or by federal funding.
They provide the balance, and also the primary and the general election, there was early voting, so you had to provide for early voting also. So that had for the precinct offices.
Okay.
So at this point, for an annual town election, we don't have early voting.
Okay, thank you very
I just ask, didn't we have an annual town election and a special election last year for selectmen?
We did.
So if we had a similar number of elections, like elections where I assume that we had to cover the ballots last year, I'm just surprised again that the number is so much higher.
First of all, we did have a special election in September that went along with the primary, and that we didn't figure for that, so we ended up having to go to town meeting to get to have the cost for that covered.
So is that not included, like the original budget here for 2021 appropriation?
No, the original budget last year did not include the special election.
And I guess maybe this is a question for Ed. Is the 2021 appropriation the final figure, or is that the number that we arrived at post transfers, increases, whatever?
No, that just reflects the action that's taken by town meeting. That does not reflect any transfers that may have been requested and approved during the course of the fiscal year.
All right, I think I'm good then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a election total line item, $36,185 as the town manager recommendation. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Ed. So we'll do the roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you. And myself, yes. And I noticed there's one item for the town clerk in the CIP, the capital improvement plan, and that is the $10,000 that is for the book and map repairs, and that's something that occurs annually. And this is for the old town record books?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a continuing, because there's always books that need to be done. Our maps are.
Okay. And, I mean, we have records going back to what year? Approximately.
We do have some way back to the 1700s.
Wow.
Late 1700s, but not a lot in that area, but going forth.
Yeah, we have. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Does anyone have any questions on the CIP? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Deb, for coming tonight, or showing up tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
Our next,
All right. Have a good night.
you too. Our next budget is the Senior Center Elder Affairs, number 541, under Department of Public Services. I see Jean is here.
Hi, good evening. Hi.
Hi. All right, and so let's see, the library is here, so let's move that over. And so here's the Department of Public Service, the Senior Center Elder Affairs. Okay, so I see that the total budget is a total of $129,432, and that's an 11.8% decrease to fiscal year 2021, which is $146,000 and $733. Okay, Jean, do you want to tell us anything about your budget?
So basically, I reduced as much as I could on the expense side. What we're looking to do is, hopefully when the senior center reopens, is to hire a program coordinator, which will be a new position. So right now there's only two staff at the senior center, myself and an outreach coordinator, and then just the van drivers. So that $6,300 in the line item for program coordinator is the amount that I could take from my expenses.
Okay, so this would be a part-time position, the program coordinator?
No, it would be a full-time position, 37.5 hours.
Okay, and I see you're requesting $6,300, right? Am I missing that?
Right. For right right now because the senior center is still closed.
So what
And
happens?
we're not exactly sure when we're going to open.
So what happens when we open, and you need the salary for a new person?
Madam Chair, can I speak on this for?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
So we identified this as a priority after sitting down with the director, Jean. Jean is correct. This would be under phase 4, probably last step. We don't know when that is going to take place. Certainly, our elderly are our most vulnerable population. We don't know if we're going to be able to resume activities at all during the course of 2022. I think this is something that we would consider adjusting if need be at the fall town meeting.
Okay. All right. I understand. All right.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. I wanted to, do our members have any questions for Jean? No? Jean, I wanted to ask you about state grants. I know the Senior Center gets some funds under the state formula grant.
Correct.
Okay.
So we did actually get the state formula grant for this year. It was delayed. The amount that we get was $12 per elder, so the total amount was $47,844. So going forward, we're not exactly sure, with the state how much they might be reducing it to $9 per elder. It's too much up in the air that we haven't been told what the final amount would be.
Yeah.
But part of that grant, it does pay for the outreach coordinator that works 30 hours a week. It pays for part of the volunteer recognition luncheon. It pays for miscellaneous supplies. It pays for all of my exercise instructors.
Oh, that's okay.
That's what that money is for.
Okay, great. Are there any other grants that the Senior Center gets?
No, just make it small grants, from maybe health company or maybe MCOA might be small grants.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. All right.
And then Auburn Cultural Council usually pays for some of our entertainment grants we get from them. Yes.
Oh, that sounds good. Thank you. So I see do our members have any questions? All right, so I'm looking at a town manager recommendation of $129,432, and again, that's 11.8% less than fiscal year 2021. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. So let's do the roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you very much, Jean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thanks.
You too. And let's see, who's next? Next on the list is the info technology, and that's Chris Hughes. All right, let me just put this away.
Madam Chair, information technology would be Mike Marino.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Sorry, Mr. Marino.
No problem.
All right, we're on. All right, sorry, we're on 155. Okay, let me get to that. Hold on. All right, and you have some capital items also, I know, right?
Yes.
All right, so Mike, we're looking at your budget. It has a total of $241,096, which is an increase of $11,223 to fiscal year 2021, which is about a 4.9% increase. Do you have anything you want to tell us about the budget?
Yes, for the most part, the budget is just maintaining what we do every year, software licenses, maintenance, support renewals. However, because of last year in COVID-19, we had utilized some CARES Act funding for the virtual meetings, for remote access to computers, and we had agreed that since those licenses were up for renewal this coming coming fiscal year, that we include those in the budget to renew.
Okay.
So that's where you see the big increase this year, because we have several programs that we just didn't have last year that we included.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I looked at the list of software. Do our members have any questions?
Madam Chair, I would.
Yes.
Michael, I know I ask you this every year. I'm always amazed that you kind of run the technology for the town on what appears to be a minimal budget, and this obviously is not the year to be thinking for what might be needed, and I don't believe you have anything, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there anything in the CIP that's related to IT? Is there anything you foresee in the future for our infrastructure?
For the CIPs, I do have an infrastructure one that's going to be the FY25 I have for infrastructure upgrades.
Okay. Nothing else?
I tried to go as light as I could this year, especially after last year too. Trying to do the least I could do while maintaining what we have.
No, which is understandable, but I think more and more the residents are expecting to have the access to the town departments via different means of communications, and be able to have access to people readily to be able to connect all the time. So if you're able to get by on that that amount, great job. It's certainly Novich, if there's stuff that needs to be done, I think, I don't think you can really put a value on the infrastructure technology-wise as the town moves forward.
If I could just follow Madam Chair, members of the board, and Mike, maybe you can quantify, put some numbers on it, but as a result of the CARES Act money that we've received, we've purchased a technology that allows for accessibility to laptops and other infrastructure that we didn't have before. So that's kind of taken the pressure off the capital side of the equation, because we were able to get that equipment through some federal funding. I know, Mike, we probably ordered at least, a dozen laptops at least?
Mm-hmm. Oh, more than that. I believe we have about 25 to 30 after everything.
So that's really taking the pressure and allowed us to replace a lot of the equipment in advance of when it's been scheduled in the CIP. Mm-hmm. And that may offer some flexibility in diverting some of that money through a modification in the CIP if something comes up that's unexpected, or maybe it's some equipment that we kind of deferred out of the it's certainly the CARES money isn't placed until December 30th of 2021, which is about 10 months out. So we still may be able to purchase and enhance our technology through the CARES Act funding.
Okay, thank you.
Albeit it has to be COVID related.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. So, Mike, I do see that there are two items in the capital budget for fiscal year 2022, $16,000 for sand backup and disk replacements, and $20,000 for computer replacements, and that's part of a town-wide plan, replacing a third of the computers on a 5-year schedule. What is this? Yep. What is a sand backup, SAN?
Yeah, so SAN is a storage area network. Basically, it's a big server with hard drives in it, and that stores the town's data. Okay. So this will allow us to get more or larger hard drives so we have more storage. And the backup is just same thing, a server with hard drives for storage for backups of our servers. In case there's ever an issue, if there's a crash, if there's a virus or ransomware, things like that, we have backups in order to get us back up and running as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you, Michael. All right, so we're looking at a info technology budget. The line item is $241,096, which is a 4.88% increase to fiscal year 2021. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. So let's do a roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Great, thank you. All right, thanks, Mr. Marino, for coming by tonight.
Thank you very much.
Phoning in, yeah. All right, so our next line item is the cable and community television, and that is Mr. Hugo. Okay. Who is here this evening?
Testing this new microphone we have here. Good.
All right, hello, Chris. Do you want to tell us anything about your budget?
Just that it's a little lower than previous budgets because we're addressing a lot of the issues that have been carrying over the high numbers in case we needed to replace. We're going to be addressing those issues in this fiscal year. Also, the addition of our new technician, John Horniak. We can do a lot of our repairs in-house now. We don't have to send the equipment out.
Oh, that's great.
Much of our equipment are just glorified PCs running off-the-shelf hardware with proprietary software. So now we have the option to actually rebuild the piece of equipment and just transfer the software over.
Okay, great. Okay. And members, do you have any, let's see, I'll read the total. The town manager recommendation. This is for the community TV total, $207,770. Right?
Yep.
Now you have, and it's
That's right.
actually less than last year. So that's, it's 15.7% less than last year. Do our members have any questions about this budget? No? All right.
I have one question. Might be more for Ed, but I'm just looking at the department request versus the recommendation on the equipment. I know he just mentioned that they were addressing some things current year, so I'm not sure if it was just a rollover that got corrected in the process, but it looks like there was just a almost $35,000 difference between what they had noted as new equipment needs versus what went out. So I'm just curious as to what changed there.
Trevor, that's a great question. And so let me offer an explanation. You have to remember this is an enterprise fund. So when you look at cost versus revenue, the revenue was less than the expense. So the general fund, based upon this level of spending, would have to subsidize the operation by roughly $50,000. So what we did is we took the equipment line item and we reduced it down to $19,500 and had a discussion with Chris that if you need equipment, you should be purchasing it through retained earnings.
Okay.
So he has roughly close to $400,000 in retained earnings. Typically, when an enterprise fund makes equipment purchases, it's typically funded through the retained earnings account. So we peeled that back. So revenue basically equals expense. No subsidy from the general fund. That's why there's a reduction. The equipment need would be handled through the CIP or outside article. Funded through retained earnings, very similar to the SOAR Enterprise Fund.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, and so we have a community TV total of $207,770, which is 15.7% less than last year. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin and Ed. So let's do a roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trevor?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Chris regarding the CIP? There's just one item on it for fiscal 22, just new equipment for $35,000, which is about the amount that was reduced from this line item, correct? Okay.
And Madam Chair, that's why it's been introduced into the capital. If you look at the original request, it was zero. That's what we added in on the capital.
Yeah. And I see it's coming, the notation is it's coming from CRE, so cable retained earnings. Good.
That's correct.
Any questions?
And just one quick question.
Yeah.
Is there an update on the Gleason Park? Isn't that building being renovated partly for the TV studio?
Oh, Gleason Park. Yes. Chris, can you tell us anything about the Gleason Park, or is that a question for Bill?
That would be a question for Bill Coyle. Last time I heard, they had gutted it.
Okay.
And I haven't been down there in a little while, but they haven't come to me yet with where the electrical and the gas and where my equipment's going to be going.
Okay.
So it's moving along.
It's moving along. Thank you. And that's a good question, Ed. So we'll have to make sure to ask that to Mr. Coyle when he comes. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Chris. I think we're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our list tonight is the moderator. 114, the moderator, way in the front of the book. Okay. All right, so the town moderator has requested, department request of $296, which is what the town manager recommendation is, and that's the same amount it's been back to fiscal year 2018 or even further back. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Let's do the roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you. And myself, yes. Thank you. Next budget we're looking at is the selectmen. That's 122. That budget has a recommendation from the town manager of $10,737. That's the same as the department request. That's a decrease of 4.9% to fiscal year 2021.
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trevor?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay, thank you. So now we're looking at selectmen, that we just did. One, Executive Office of Town Manager, 129. All right, so the department request is the same as the town manager recommendation, $415,388. That's an increase of 4.25% to fiscal year 21. And our town manager is the president of the MMA, Mass Mutual. So isn't it the, what's the name of the organization? I don't want to get it wrong, Ed. She's the president of?
The Mass Municipal, manager of the Mass Municipal Association.
Okay, thank you. And any? MMA. So they're covering her expenses for that job, for expenses related to that. There's a note here. Any questions on this budget?
Question.
Yep.
Just clarification. Any of the salary increases, those are contractual agreed upon increases, is that correct for the next fiscal year?
Right, so those are contractual. There would be an increase subject to an evaluation next year, so that's not part of it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, let's do a roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trevor?
Yes.
Okay, and myself, yes, thank you. All right, our next budget is Finance Committee, which is $815. That's the department request and the town manager recommendation, and that's the same amount that it's been back to fiscal year 2018 and probably before. So, any questions on that line item, on that budget?
Make a motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. All right, all in favor, let's do the roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Okay, and myself, yes, thank you. All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Madam Chair, you didn't want to advocate for a pizza line item like your predecessor did?
He always wanted a pizza party, right, or something like that? A free pizza. Yeah, I'm not going there. This is a tough year, Mr. Kasnovich. I don't think we should be pushing the envelope here, all right? All right, so let's look now at the finance department. And that includes the accountant's office, assessor's office, and treasurer collector. All right, so let's look at the accountant's office first. The town manager recommendation and the department request are the same, $325,679. Okay, does any, and a question for Mr. Kazanovich. So we have the new accountant that started on January 1st?
So, Madam Chair, the accountant is not on board yet. We are in the process of putting together an ad.
Oh, okay.
To go out and hope to make a hire, I would say, April or May timeframe.
Okay.
So this is part of the succession plan that the town manager proposed to you during the last budget season, and we're carrying through with that commitment.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we had an appropriation in fiscal year 2021, so we did not use that, correct? Or did we?
For which line item?
For the town accountant, $33,000.
I know that's still available, but a portion of that will be used when the individual comes on board.
Okay, I got you. You're right. Thank you, because the year starts July 1st. Thank you. All right. Any other questions about the accountant's office?
Madam Chair, just to clarify again, any salary increases there are to the town manager, assistant town manager, CFO, those are contractual increases, correct?
Yes, those are contractual, yes.
Thank you.
All right. The next department is...
I have one question, if that's all right.
Sure.
I just wanted to clarify the salary for the CFO accountant, assistant town management on the first page is $145,984, but then the annualized salary on the roster is $157,3585. Is that a typo or is that covered somewhere else that I'm just missing?
No, as you see, the first, it's 157,3585. If you look right after that, the 145,983 lines up with the request. That comes from general fund appropriation. These other allocations are made through various other funding sources that I support throughout the year.
Okay. So, Michael, those are listed right under the, right between the accountant's budget and the assessor's. There's just in very small print right inside there. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, we have the assessor's budget. The department request and town manager's recommendation are the same, $187,427. Does anyone have any questions about these? No? Okay. And hearing none, we'll look at the third budget, and this is the treasurer collectors. The treasurer collector total is the same. The town manager recommendation department requests are the same, $285,430. Okay, any questions there?
I have a question there.
Yep.
And never mind, I figured it out. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize, that's fine. Okay, so, okay, not hearing any other questions, what we do is we vote on the total for the whole finance department, which includes three of these, which includes the accountant and the assessors and the treasurer collector. So that total finance department budget is $798,536, which is an increase of 12.5% to fiscal 2021. Do I hear a motion to recommend?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. So let's do a roll call. All in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
And myself? Yes, thank you. All right, so now that one's fine. Let's look at the law department. All right, and that total is 140, the request is $145,000, which is the same as fiscal 2021. $85,000 general counsel, $50,000 in negotiator, and $10,000 in special litigation. Does anyone have any questions about this budget?
I do.
Okay.
Ed, can you just give us an update? I know we had some, at least one case that was lengthy and ongoing. Has that resolved itself into the 70? Is that reflected here if it's still ongoing?
So, although I can't get into the details of the case, I can tell you we have two very active cases that are expected to last well into FY22, if not beyond. And they could be pretty significant. One of those cases, we have outside labor counsel assigned to our insurance company, but the case is being monitored by our own general counsel. We do have a number of cases that are in arbitration, potentially mediation, labor issues. We hope those will be resolved by the end of this fiscal year, but there could be a carryover of those matters as well. So this is one, I almost thought about putting this one on hold until the end, but I guess we could hold it knowing that if we have to bring it back in, there would be a reconsideration for this department.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I also have a question about this one. I'm assuming that these appropriations are essentially like billed out as they are incurred. Did we use the full fiscal 2021 appropriation?
No. Today we have lived within the amount that's been appropriated, but I would expect at some point that those will need additional funds, and we'll have to come back before the Finance Committee with a request for a transfer.
Thank you.
Okay, so you expect some transfers for fiscal 2021. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Kazanovich?
Let me just go 1 second here. I'll tell you where we stand year to date. goes here. Okay. So, General Counsel, $85,000. We have spent 59 and change. We have about $26,000 available. Labor Council, we appropriated 50. For 21, we have approximately $8,000 available. In Special Counsel, 10,000, we still have 10,000 available. So it looks like Labor Council would be coming in first for a transfer. Those that are currently before going to arbitration. So my guess is maybe in a month or two we'll be back asking for a transfer.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Gentlemen, any other questions? Do I hear a motion to recommend the budget of legal total $145,000?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. Let's, all in favor. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Okay, and myself, yes. Thank you. All right, the next budget we're looking at is number 151, Human Resources. 152. Oh, no, 152, I beg your pardon, Human Resources. All right, the department request and the town manager recommendation are the same. That's $81,091, which is a 2.5% increase to fiscal year 2021. Does anyone have any questions?
Just a quick one for Ed. Ed, I know you built out the HR a little bit as its own office and role as it should be, and any successes from that you can respond to with this, or taking this off of one of the many hats you and Julie sort of wore in the past to a standalone HR?
So I think this is one area that we would like to expand upon in the future. We've had some preliminary discussions in joining up with the school departments, so there's some continuity in the way we address things on both town and the school side. Deb Du Bois does a great job. There's a lot for her to handle, but there are a lot of legal matters that Julie and I are currently assuming because it's going to bog down. We don't have the resources in HR to handle those types of issues. So that's something we're looking at addressing in the long term. That standalone office has paid dividends by allowing some privacy to exist when our employees are coming in and dealing with some confidential matters. So we do take HR very seriously. We do need to maintain a strict level of confidentiality when dealing with these issues. But it's something that we're always looking to improve upon.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, there's so much that goes on in HR between benefits, retirements, and health issues, and employee assistance, and the support that the employees of the town work so hard for everyone should and deserve to get. So it's good to hear that you're looking to expand and improve that role within the town.
Well, even the duties and the responsibilities that are HR related due to COVID are immense. I mean, just FMLA tracking and COVID deck and policies that need to go into place. These things are ongoing every day. Quite honestly, it's been bogging down Julie and I and Deb Du Bois. I mean, we're tackling this from three different angles, but it takes a team effort right now to get these things accomplished.
that something that CARE Act money could be put towards, especially at least, for the next year, we could get them some more clerical staff that has the HR background to help with, or clerical hours at least, to fill some of those needs if COVID is creating that additional burden?
I would say, yeah, we could. I think we could expend CARES money as it relates to COVID policies, procedures, and things of that nature. That's something we could take a look at, but those things had to be done immediately up front. That's something that we couldn't postpone. That's already in place, Kevin, so I don't know, I think a lot of executive orders that drive our policies are already behind us. I don't see much coming in the future because I think we're improving now, and I think a lot of what has already been voted by the legislature and enacted by the governor may be referred to in the future if we should spike. So I don't see that expense hitting us going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so
I have a question as well, if that's all right.
Sure.
So my question is, it's a 2.52 increase from last year, but the only two items that increased were the salary line items, and they both are supposed to increase by 2%, but it looks like they went up more than 2%. So maybe I'm just reading this wrong, but is there any explanation for that?
I think it's the, let me see. I'm looking at the roster. If you look at the roster, I think the appropriation may have been off by 21 because a portion of her pay comes out of, he maintains a health trust, so a portion of her pay goes against that. So I think when they did a calculation of the percentage, and I can check this out and double check this, I think it may have been done on the net amount and not the gross amount, so that's why it's inflated by 2%. Additionally, I think the difference may also be, I won't know unless I look at it, but the FY21 amount does not reflect the 1% transfer that the Finance Committee voted as a result of the successful evaluation. So this does not reflect transfers. This is reflective of what town meeting voted.
I think that's what I think that must be what it is then, because it's about an extra percent.
Yeah,
that would make sense. The one other thing I'll just say, just because I'm looking at it, is the clerical salary is supposed to have increased by 2%, but the same numbers in both 21 and 22. It looks like overall we reflected in the total department request, but it looks like it might be another ironically clerical error.
Are you saying on a clerical line, Michael?
Yep. Patricia Beauregard's salary is $208.02 for fiscal year 2021 and $208.02 for fiscal year 2022. But the total line has gone up, so I'm just wondering if that's.
Oh, that's gonna be an error.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't carry the true value over. We'll take a look at that and make a correction, get it to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Those are good questions. Any other questions about this budget? All right. Hearing no other questions, do I hear a motion to recommend the town manager's number of $81,091?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor. Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Okay, and myself, yes, thank you. All right, check that one. Now we're gonna look at the town hall budget number 192. All right. So this budget has a total request $52,500. That's a 4% increase to last year's. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this budget?
Just a quick one. The one item obviously stands out as the one increase is the equipment maintenance. Was there one contract, something in particular?
So I think as we're adding new copiers, the maintenance is increasing because it's a newer machine. So we just went based upon actuals for the current year, extrapolating that out to come up with a revised number. So that's running higher than it has been in previous years.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to recommend the town manager recommendation of $52,500?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Thank you, and all in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor? Yes, okay, and myself, yes, thank you. So the last budget on our schedule for tonight is general services. And the department request is the same as the town manager recommendation, and that's $1,457,268. That's a 1.06% increase to last year, or I should say fiscal year 2021, the one we're in now. I do have a question for Ed regarding the insurance and bonds. Is that an estimated amount? We don't usually get the bill till June, is that correct?
Madam Chair, that's an estimated amount. We're not going to know that number until probably early June. So this is one area that we typically, if need be, adjust to the fall town meeting.
Okay.
That's a tough one to gauge because certainly it's contingent upon a number of things. Our claims history, our ratios during the year, our level of IODs. There are a number of factors that really drive that. Our workers' comp rates, if they go up. Our mods, our rate, they rate us over a 3-year period. It's considered a mod rate. All these factors come into play, and I certainly don't know what the impact will be as a result of COVID-19 on the insurance liability aspect. So I think there's expectations that we maintain and risk management point of view. We have to maintain to keep our buildings clean. But certainly if there are any claims resulting from COVID, and I don't know of any yet, but certainly that could come into play into the setting the premium in the rates for the coming year.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Now, we've been paying insurance on the Mary D. Stone and Julie Bancroft school buildings. Is that off? Will that be off now?
So, as part of the budget presentation, that no longer is going to be a request. Those JB we just closed on JB about 2 weeks ago. So that's no longer our responsibility anymore.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, members, do you have any questions about this budget?
Madam Chair, the only line item I am somewhat concerned about keeping an eye on is motor vehicle fuel.
Okay.
I think we're all seeing gas prices go up. It's my understanding that there was a disruption in the supply of gasoline as a result of a harsh winter in various sections of the country. Whether that's going to stay where it is, increase, decrease, we just don't know.
Okay, and that's budgeted at $190,000, the same as fiscal year 2021 appropriation. Okay. Gentlemen?
I think when we put this budget together, gasoline was probably selling for $2.20 something.
Yeah.
So it's gone up pretty significantly since we put this budget together. I think the average is around $2.61 now.
Okay. Does this include gas and oil? Does this include the gas for the all the vehicles in the town, or just the what about the fire and police vehicles?
That's included in this.
Okay.
As well.
All right. Okay. All right. Hearing no other questions, do I hear a motion to recommend the town manager recommendation line, $1,457,268?
Motion to recommend.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Trevor?
Yes.
Okay, great. And that was all we have on our schedule to look at tonight. We, in terms of budgets, next week we'll have the police department and the Department of Development and Inspectional Services, DDIS in. We'll have the school department the following week on the 17th of March, and March 24th will be the fire rescue department. Okay. So we still need to look at the library too. And we'll have other items like debt and interest that we want to look at also. And Bay Path we'll have to take a look at. And we have to get the DPW in too. So Sharon's been working on contacting the departments and having them come in, or attend our meetings virtually and answer any questions that we have. All right, we have no transfers tonight. We have no minutes to look at. Okay, so does anyone have any questions?
And is there any advantage to having Bay Path, trying to get Bay Path on the same night as the schools if we're in that educational frame of mind, or is it a unique and separate sort of? I know it's got its own formulas and stuff. I just didn't know if there was any advantage to try for the same night.
I don't. They're two different entities. I mean, I don't know if there's. We could get them. Do you want to see someone from Bay Path?
I didn't know if, busing or if there was some sort of overlap in there where the presentations would match, but if they're completely distinct and separate, then, whatever tape works.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I think we suggested that they come in the same night as regular school department. Maybe they kick things off first. I like to cluster all schools together, whether it be Norfolk Aggie, Bay Path, and our own school department. Sharon, were you able to, is Bay Path able to attend, or you don't know?
I don't know yet. I have a call into the office, but I'm waiting to hear.
Well, we try to join them the same night with our own school department, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll try to make that happen, Kevin, if we can. I just don't know if they have a meeting that night, but we'll try to make that work if possible.
Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Kevin?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Michael?
Sure.
And Trevor?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you. Have a good evening. We'll see you next week.